PGA European Tour is brought to you by Volvo.
Hello and a warm welcome from me, Warren Humphreys, to this, the 8th event on the PGA European Tour. This week the players have moved southeast across the continent of Africa to Dubai, the United Emirates, for the Dubai Desert Classic. A galaxy of stars line up, 23 Ryder Cup players, including last year's defending champion Freddie Couples. This shot here on the 18th, claiming his first European Tour title, and he would go on to win the following week in the Johnny Walker Classic. Behind Couples was Colin Montgomery, and Colin out here this week, starting his PGA European Tour campaign. Well, there's been a tremendous amount of rain here at the start of this week, 3 times the annual rainfall on Tuesday, which washed out some of the early play. But the players already started this morning, and the story's all about Miguel Angel Jimenez. He having a blistering round at the top of the leaderboard, 9 under, and that slimmed down Colin Montgomery, starting off extremely well, hasn't played for 3 months, and he is at 5 under. Well, Stephen Field from England also having a pretty good round, and he just 1 shot ahead of Colin. Christy O'Connor Jr. playing one of his rare events on the tour, going along very nicely at 3 under par. Barry Lane from England, fresh from that win in the Anderson Consulting Championship, where he won $1 million. In pretty good position early on at 2 under. The course just over 7,000 yards, par 72, but 9s of 35 and 37. And a course which usually produces pretty low scores. Freddie Couples in winning last year, shot 268. Ernie Els also the previous year in 1994 was round in 68, of course, with that course record of 61. There you can see the clubhouse, a Garden of Eden, surrounded by desert, and this one of the finest venues on the PGA European Tour. Prize money of £650,000 and £108,000 going to the winner. No wonder 23 ex-Ryder Cup players are here, and a whole host of the players that played at Oak Hill. This the man of the moment, Miguel Angel Jimenez. This his last hole, the players starting out on 2 tee starts. So this the 18th hole for him, and a quite cracking round. Putted extremely well. Hold some great birdie putts, some good putts to save. And that would have seen him round in a stunning 62. But it's round of 63 for Jimenez. And look at that start. 5 birdies on his back 9, the front 9. And that really catapulting him way ahead to the top of the leaderboard. Man also having a very good day today, Jose Caceres. Recorded his 2nd hole in 1 of the European Tour earlier on today. Holed out on the 4th hole. Anytime you get a 1, that helps. And the man who finished 2nd last week, Eduardo Romero. Good to see him back playing in Europe. Pretty steady round there of 70. So Romero in a comfortable position, if some 7 shots behind this man here. The 9th hole, 463 yards, and second shot played alongside the water on the left-hand side. Water not really in reach off the tee. That bunker on the right, 265 yards, so the players wanting to hug it down that right-hand side before playing up to this well-guarded green. Water on the left, bunkers on the back right, and a pretty good test of golf. A number of the greens around here this week have been reseeded with a new type of grass. The ryegrass that they've had here for the first few years has been overseeded, so that's making the greens play a little bit quicker, a little bit truer. And this 9th hole, certainly one of the harder holes on the front 9, just playing over the par of 4.23. And really a quite glorious setting. Normally this course has somewhere in the region of 1 million gallons of water poured over it each day, 4.5 million litres to keep it in this lush green condition. But they didn't need too much rain, or didn't need too much water early on in the week, where they had flash floods, and it caught this man out here, Freddie Couples, because he came from the United States, didn't pack an umbrella, didn't pack the waterproofs, thought it was all sunshine, and of course now he's got the umbrella in the bag and the waterproofs. Well, let's hope he doesn't have to use them. We don't have to watch it. Sven Struve not having the happiest of times today, just a couple over. Winner, of course, of his first PGA European Tournament event down in South Africa earlier this year at the Houghton Golf Course. That blistering last round of 63. 9 birdies in 11 holes through the middle of his round, not managing to produce that magic today. Clubhouse in the distance in the shape of Bedouin tents, and hospitality units in front of those, and Struve playing a solid shot onto the safe right-hand side, but a long way from the hole. Long chance to make a birdie, and I'm sure he'll be heading down towards the practice round after a couple of putts. Well, if you're wondering who that slimline figure is, that's Colin Montgomery. Lost 4 inches round the waist with 3 months training over the winter period. Put a gym in his house, hasn't played golf too much over the last 3 months, determined to get fit, determined to get strong, because of self-esteem that he wanted to portray. Nothing to do with the comments that David Ledbetter may have made that he was unfit playing the last 9 holes of PGA in the United States. And it's certainly not affecting his form straight out of the traps. Not too much competitive golf since the World Championships in December, and well, straight out 5 under par, and he can't ask for much better than that. Yeah, defending champion Freddie Couples. Beautiful, smooth, lazy swing this man has. Natural drawer of the ball, so should be aiming this right of the flagstick, trying to bring it back in, and that's what he tried, but he left it out. Maybe that water down that left hand side just pushing him a little bit too far away to the right. Couples, one of the few players that play on the world of golf scene without a left-hand glove. Surprising in this sort of heat. That's back on the 8th hole, Caceres from the Argentine. For 134 yards. And if you miss the fairway round here, well, it's a lot of sand. And son of Garrido, Ignacio Garrido, following in father's footsteps and doing extremely well, 5 under par today. Good solid shot. I really expect this young man to do very well. He's played very consistently last year in Europe, and looking like he's continuing that form out here in Dubai. Marvellous venue for this event. Everything for the players in tip-top shape, tip-top condition, and one that all the players really relish playing in. I'm sure that's why the field is so strong this week. And couples going to be first to play a little chip and run off the front of the right-hand edge, and it'll be interesting to see how quick these greens are this year compared to last with this new Boa Trivialis grass instead of the rye that they've traditionally had. And Couples looks like he's out with the putter, certainly not wanting to rush, certainly laid back. And could be he's just waiting for some of the players across on 18 to get out of his way or stop moving around. Doesn't want any movement to interfere with his putt. And as soon as they've played and got out of the way, and that's, you can see those players on 18. This St Andrews type double green, really quite huge, and maybe it's just catching his eyesight. Leave him and go back to the 8th. Ballesteros, winner of the '94 Heineken Open, Catalonia. Very popular, likeable man on the tour. That'll do him nicely. Sarah's playing with Wayne Riley, Ronan Rafferty. Rafferty there just in the distance, just seeing Jose play that second shot. And what a positive attitude Colin Montgomery came out at the start of this year. 3 times he's won the Order of Merit in a row, improved every year on his performances in Europe. And well, when questioned about Ian Woosnam being £225,000 ahead of him already in the first 8 events because he's not played, Colin's reply, well, a couple of early wins will soon put that to rights. So he's feeling very confident. Certainly the layoff doing nothing wrong with his touch, and he'll be delighted with that opening round. This then for 67. Quite simply done. Good day's work, his preparation up to here. 9 hours practice a day and play, and you can see that back 9, his front 9, out in 35, but managed to put that right with the eagle on the 3rd. This a few moments ago, couples attempt from the right-hand edge. And Struve. Trouble is when you have a player like Montgomery go round and shoot 67 and you're not quite on top form, this putt here for 74 probably feels like he's struggling to break 80. Certainly not that bad a score, but certainly probably for him made to feel a lot worse than that. As I said, winner of the South African PGA Championship at Houghton, and a very poor back nine there of 38 by Sven. I'm sure delighted to claim his first victory. Give him that priceless couple of years exemption on the tour, so he can plan his strategy of how he's going to play events. So important with so many tournaments, 40, 41 tournaments now on the European Tour, to be able to pick the ones that you want to play in, not play because you feel you have to. Well, how many times have we seen Freddie Couples do that over the years? And I kind of feel that that long wait before he had his first putt didn't do him any favours. He is a person that likes to get on with it. So, disappointing that little giveaway, the 5 there on the 9th, to be back in 34, ran in 69. Pretty good, but will certainly leave a sour taste in the mouth. So important to be able to hole out well. That's a good tee shot from Inicio. His birdie attempt on 7. Well, they don't come any closer than that.
Oh, look.
Gutierrez, well, must be just off the edge of the green to be able to leave the flagstick in. And that gives you some idea of the pace of the greens. Is that going to get to the hole? Hard to see. But Stephen Field from England, the only man at the moment trying to get close to Jimenez. Jimenez with that great round of 63 round in 9 under. Montgomery just in at 5 under, good opening round of 67, and Garrido we've just seen with his birdie putt on 16 at 5 under par. Couples disappointing 3 putt on the last, so he in the clubhouse at 3 under, and well, Wayne Riley's out here from Australia. So things warming up here in Dubai. Whatever you do, don't go away. Rejoin us in a few moments after the break. And welcome back to the opening day of the Dubai Desert Classic. Stephen Field on a roll, and the young man from England going along extremely well. And Field now 7 under par. And this is putt from the front of the 9th, where we just saw Montgomery and Couples finish a few moments ago. The man who had his best career performance in the Murphy's Cup in 91, really getting out to a strong start in this event. Excellent 9s there of 33 apiece, round in 66. So Stephen Field from Silkstone in 2nd place in the clubhouse, 3 behind Jimenez, and Montgomery and Garrido 4 shots back. Good to see Eamon Darcy there post a good score, and Ian Woosnam, the European #1 at the moment by £225,000, still there at 4 under par. So looks like it's going to be a very good year for Ian Woosnam. This was the Johnny Walker celebration dinner for the Ryder Cup players last night, and Sam Torrance, the effervescent Sam Torrance, winner of 3 events last year in Fine Fettle. A man whose game rejuvenated this year, Ian Woosnam, and playing an excellent shot there to the 6th. Tight dogleg hole. And Woosnam playing much more freely, much more determined golf. Now being coached by Colin Montgomery's mentor, Bill Ferguson. And wouldn't it be ironic if Woosnam pips Bill's main man for the title of #1 in Europe this year? Look at that. 4 birdies, no bogeys. And Ian, well, really on some very fine form from tee to green. Does have the occasional poor day still with the putter. But once you start posting good scores, once you start feeling that you can hit it pretty well off the tee and pretty well into the greens, it's amazing how the confidence returns. Playing with Woosnam, another Ryder Cup player, Howard Clark. And didn't he get a good singles victory last year in the last day at Oak Hill? Playing against Jay Haas and Howard. Pretty steady golf. Starting on that back 9. Just the drop shot on the 15th. And a man I always feel plays his best golf when he feels that he's got an ailment. You know, if he's got a bad back or something wrong with him, tends to worry about that more than his golf game and put some pretty good scores together. Now this is good to see. Seve Ballesteros 2 under par, having missed the cut last week rather dramatically with some pretty high scores. Good to see Seve under par. Good to see him named as the Ryder Cup captain for the match to be hosted in Spain in '97. And he will not need any geeing up to lift the players when they come and play that match eventually. No one more determined, no one more aggressive in trying to play team matches than Seve. Woosnam. Birdie attempt, little bit of swing from right to left and fairly quick.
Come on.
And he certainly looks to be adopting a more casual, relaxed putting stroke, Woosnam, letting the putter flow back and almost point the putter head towards the hole as he goes through the impact. Last year he tended to be a little bit stabby and try and hold the left wrist quite firm in through the impact area, and a number of putts that he seemed to push and pull, but adopting a more laid back putting stroke, and I think that's helping him get the pace of the greens a lot better. Howard Clark, reverse overlap grip, left hander below the right. So, par for Clark. And in fact, it was Peter Jacobson that he beat in the singles, not Jay Haas. But no change at the top of the leaderboard. Jimenez still at the top of the leaderboard, -9. Rejoin us in a few moments. On this first day, as we take a look at the 7th hole, the Dubai Desert Classic course. Par 3, 184 yards, all across water, and you can see the pin today cut right on that front left-hand section of the green. All carry, and with the wind just behind them, a little bit over their left shoulder, moving away a little bit left to right, causing quite a difficult shot today for the players, and just playing under the par of 3, 2.94. You can see 82 par, 16 birdies With a beautiful looking hole. Go a little bit long, bunkers at the back of the green. This hole today playing just about a 6-iron. And Gronberg from Sweden. First up. And just letting it go on the breeze there, and you can see how well the course or the greens have drained. Quite a firm bounce there, considering the amount of rain they've had. Well, he is not happy with that. Winner, of course, of the European Masters last year. Cron. And well, just shows you how the wind may be gusting or turning around. Wobbly there, you may have heard him. Woosnam's caddy saying might just be into us a little. In that case, Woosie will go up probably half a club. Just put a smooth swing on it. And maybe that was the mistake in trying to hit it a little bit too easy. Just caught that a fraction heavy, and that's about the worst golf shot I've seen Woosie play this year. And that really not a question of his technique, more a question of indecision. Now this is good to see, because that practice swing of Seve Ballesteros is nothing like the swing that he took to Oak Hill last year. They're a much more flatter swing plane than he's been adopting. Not quite so tilted. That's a better address position, and it looks like better scoring. And not too bad that from Seve. Just finished off the right-hand edge of the green. Said last week in playing in Morocco they didn't quite know where the club face was at impact. By the type of attacking shot that he played there, looks like he's getting the feel back. So Ian Woosnam, as he walks up the 7th hole, as the ball didn't carry across the water, he'll have to drop behind, keeping the flagstick in line where the ball last crossed the margin of the hazard. So hard to know from here exactly how far he's going to have left. They may even have put a dropping zone in there. Probably now not much more than a wedge for Woosie. But now playing 3. And has he got that heavy as well? Well, that's more like it. Just a fairly steep divot there. I'm going to have a putt for a bogey. So important when you take a club out the bag to be able to visualize the shot, and once decided upon it, commit yourself to it. And I don't think Woosie did that on that particular tee shot, and paid the penalty for it. David Fairty did so well in Africa at Houghton, finished second behind Sven Struve, and good to see him back playing in Europe. Disappointing time in the United States, and a good shot there by David on the 5th. And Ryder Cup players coming thick and fast. Second shot there of Guilford, and how about that? Well, we've had a hole-in-one already. And Guilford holding his approach shot, and that really giving the fans something to cheer about, and just managing to give David the briefest of smiles. So I wonder what's going through the mind of Ian Woosnam at the moment. Normally when you've had the sort of start to the year that he's had, 2 wins and some good performances, if you hit a bad shot like that, you can tend to ride it out, tend to not let it affect your concentration too much. Last year, of course, a shot like that, Woosie may have completely collapsed and let the score get away from him. I don't think he'll let that happen to him today. Clark coming from just off the edge of the fringe. And he'll be looking to break the £2 million barrier this year. And 1.95 million at the start of the year on the PGA European Tour, so it won't take him long to break that. And Guilford on the 6, just the match behind. Just have a look at this second shot again. Certainly he one of the straightest hitters on the tour, and that, well, beautifully into the hole. Certainly would have been too far past. Guaranteed birdie, but that's a fine eagle for David Guilford. And Guilford moves to 4 under. Good way to reply after that ugly 6 there on the 3rd. Seve also standing taller with the putting stroke. Yes, sir. Yes, I didn't think it would be too long before this man came back. Of course, managed now by my old friend and good friend Roddy Carr. And I'm sure he'll be delighted to see Seve back on the sort of form that we've come to expect from the man that's won 54 events in Europe. Can't keep a good man down. Gronberg had the chance to go to school on Howard Clark's putt a few moments ago, so should know pretty well the pace of this putt. Oh, got the pace right, got the line wrong. Well, can Woosie make a bogey? And that's an unfortunate double.
Very fucking angry.
So Woosie takes 5, moves back to 2. And underneath that calm exterior, I'm sure he'll be bubbling. David Fierty, Northern Ireland. Really had troubles at the start of the year with very sore tennis elbow of the right arm. Got all sorts of pads on to take the pain away. Needs something to take away the pain of that putt. But a very, very popular player on tour, and talked back into coming to play in Europe by a number of his British professionals. One of the players that's had an unhappy divorce at the end of last year. Decided that he may even give up the game or take to commentating. Good to see him back. And here's a man on sparkling form, Wayne Westner. And I bet he wished he could have done that on the last green of Morocco last week. He finished 3rd, had a putt for an eagle, which may have put a lot of pressure on the eventual winner, Hedblom. Westner, who's won 3 events, 1 in Europe, 2 on the South African tour, quietly amassing large sums of money. Well, a touch of was it going to be or was it not going to be from Rocker, and that's one of the few putts we've seen him hold. But just a glance at the leaderboard to see that there is no change there, and I don't think too many people will challenge Miguel Angel Jimenez's score of 9 under. But whatever you do, don't go away. Join us for more golf from Dubai in just a moment. And welcome back to this, the first round of the Dubai Desert Classic. And some pretty warm scores out here on the start of this first day. Jimenez with that 63, Colin Montgomery with 67. We're on the 8th with Howard Clark and Ian Woosnam and Matthias Gronberg. Clark, his tee shot. 434 yards, and looks like Clark may have dragged that away into the loose sand that runs alongside these fairways. And it's all in the lap of the gods when you get in there as to the sort of lie you have, because it's certainly not raked. Now, I don't suspect for 1 minute that Ian Woosnam is going to hold back on this tee shot. Having made the double bogey on the last, I think he's going to give this a fair old thump. And I think he's joined Howard Clark down that left-hand side, and you can see the puddles just to the left of where those spectators were looking. That's because of some of the early rain that they had here this week. Back to the 7th, Wayne Westner. Such a strong player, this man. Certainly one of the longest hitters on the golf tour. Just punching that iron shot forward. And the wind this afternoon, you can see freshening and turning. And as we look, wind veering round and coming more in the face of Alexander Chaker. A season this man had last year. Winner of 3 events in Andalusia, the Hobrook, the Volvo Masters. An exciting finish it was in that last event, holding off Monty and Woosnam. And a quite brilliant shot there from Chaker, and not getting the ball to stop even into the breeze, trying to draw it into that left to right wind, but quite a firm, solid bounce. We'll go back to the 6th hole where David Guilford holed his second shot. Have a look at this dogleg par 4 hole. 450 yards, and the bunker up the right-hand side. The players can drive over the corner of that. It's only just 212 yards to the start of that, and the hole turns half right. But that bunker that angles across the front left corner to the back right, giving the players quite a narrow target. And so the shot they'll be looking to play into this green is a slight fade, starting it up the left-hand side and moving the ball towards the centre of the green. And in a bunker down the right-hand side, Seve. Actually went for the carry, didn't quite make it. And he's got to clip this very clean. There's not too much of a bank in front of him. But this man learnt his golf on the beach in Santander with a 3-iron. It's to play all sorts of shots. Now, if anyone can flick it up out of here and get it onto the green, he can. This is certainly the hardest shot in golf. Has to be so precise, the impact. Well, he got it clean. Has he got the flight on it that he wants? And maybe he's beached again. And just have a look here. Good address position. Certainly don't want to have too much movement, but a much flatter turn there by Seve, driving through with the arms and carrying on to quite a high finish. Just a little bit over rotation there. May have got the club head in a little bit early. in trying to catch it clean out of the sand. And a very talented player, this man here, David Fearty. Get it in the pole position down the left-hand side, and that can certainly manoeuvre the ball either which way. And he's one of those players that's sneaky long. Right over the top of the flagstick, half a club too much, maybe a full club coming down the breeze there. And certainly the wind for the afternoon players a lot fresher. Well, something a bit special coming up here. Howard Clark, and you can see from the amount of footprints, is not in a bunker there. That's just the wasteland. And playing one of those baffler type clubs, moving up on that long par 4. A strange choice of clubs. And Rocker back with Ballesteros, and Fearty plays his second. And up ahead, Woosnam, once again a little bit of indecision on his part. And of course those fine droppings there from the palm tree just causing him also a little bit of aggravation there. Doesn't want to get any of that trap between the club face and the ball and have it slide off the club face. But at least Woozy, a clear line, and you can see that ball piercing away pretty straight, and a good shot there from the Welshman. And look at that, hole high, right into the breeze. Great shot there. Well, underneath the hat, looks like with a haircut, Wayne Westner. All the players being fooled maybe that coming out to Dubai, blistering hot sunshine. They probably didn't expect this cool weather they're getting. And Guildford, can he go to school? On Westner's putt. Well, he had the right line. Touch shy for pace. Easier with a 7-iron maybe. Having holed out at the 6th for a 2. Well, Seve didn't carry the front bunker. So we need an up and down here to save par. Always interesting to see the type of shot he's going to play. He never plays the same shot twice. Great at visualization. And there's only one thing going through that fella's mind when he plays a shot like that. He can visualize it going in the hole. Never happy with just getting it down somewhere close. Won £750,000 on the South African PGA Tour. He's currently number 2 in Europe behind Ian Woosnam. And Westner taps in for his par on the 7th. And really could have a great season this year, this young man. Tried a number of times to come over and play, and was never really happy with Europe and the conditions, and a few years back almost gave up playing, but decided to give it another go, and just as well he did. Shaker makes par. And And this man last week, Rocker, certainly got a bit hot under the collar. Number of chances last week that he had with the putter over the last 9 holes to make birdies. Didn't quite get them. Certainly rattled him a little. And I get the feeling that if anyone could teach him to putt, well, there'd be no holding him. Instead of having 5 runner-up places last year, he might have had 5 wins. Guilford taps in for his par. And just cruising along. I'm sure they've seen the leaderboard and the score of Jimenez from Spain at 9 under. I bet they can't believe it. Well, Clark from the Wasteland hit it into the greenside trap on the left-hand side. This his 3rd. He's certainly got a bit of bite on that. Lovely shot from Howard. Can Gronberg do the same thing? One of the players that likes to play with these dark glasses that give a real sharp image to the ball. Unless you're used to wearing glasses, it's not something I could ever do. But certainly a number of the Swedish players really favour them. It's like more like someone from the mafia than the Swedish pound of good players out in the dark clothes and the dark glasses. Well, a lot of talk about this man trying to be playing Ryder Cup captain. If he can put a few good scores together, you never know. I'm sure whatever he decides to do, he certainly won't let the team down, and he certainly wouldn't even consider playing if he thought it was going to be to the detriment of the side. But this to save par on the 6, remain at 3 under, and that he does, and a very workmanlike par there from Seve. In trouble off the tee, in trouble with the second shot, but a good up and down, and just goes to show hasn't lost the edge. Woozy, long birdie putt across the 8th. And wouldn't that have been a good birdie after the double bogey on the last? And really his fortune started to change at the end of last year. Had a very good chance to win the Volvo Masters. Didn't quite take it, that went to Chaker. But it certainly put him back in a much more positive frame of mind. And as I was saying, if anyone could teach this man to putt, well, you'd have a money machine. Look at that, 3 under par. Plays like God, putts like a turkey. Fearty. Coming back down the slope into the wind. And he certainly used to the pace of these greens, having played in the States for a couple of years. There, the greens certainly like lightning. And you can see no change at the top. 9 under, the Spaniard leads. From the Englishman, Stephen Field. Rejoin us in a few moments after the break. The Emirates course, and there you see a different Singh. Heave Singh from Indonesia, 4 over par, not VJ. He playing with Jean Val de Velde and Steve Tinning, one of the early starters from the afternoon, and at the quite magnificent clubhouse here at the Emirates Golf Club, overlooking the 9th and the 18th greens. As Gronberg taps in. Good strong swing there from David Fearty. Good width through the ball with the left hand and arm. And a cracking shot. Saying one of the players that is very sneaky long, you can play with him for most of the round and, you know, keep alongside, and then suddenly when he wants to really get it out there, you can find an extra couple of 20-30 yards. Great talent to have. Rocker, another player that gets up the back of the ball very well. And got a little bit too much on the inside of that. Let that get away to the right-hand side, although he lets the right shoulder come up after he's hit the ball usually. It doesn't interfere with the way he goes through the ball. And last to hit of this 3-ball, Seve. And what a joy to see. So much of his golf last year was played at the end of the season with the left shoulder dropping down too much, and he did seem to tilt. Didn't really get the club in a good angle at the top of the backswing. And from there, very difficult to hit it. Came across the ball. Never knew whether the ball was going left or right. But from that address position and a slightly more upright, flatter swing, you can certainly get the club face into the back of the ball. So good to see Seve with a slight change of swing. And no change to that swing at all. Always full, always wide, always smooth, and always with a pretty good tempo. Guildford hits to the 8th as Woosnam drives off the 9th tee. For a par. He remains at 4 over. So 76 for Indonesian player Gronberg. Blasting away his tee shot down the 9th hole, and that's in a good spot. Just up the right-hand side. Hole now turns half right, goes along the water's edge, and he'll get a pretty good view into the flagstick there. Just opens the flag up a little bit for his second shot. Long iron second for Chaker into the breeze at the 8th. Well, he just got that a little bit heavy, but he moved forward on it just a shade. Hit the low draw, kept it down in the breeze. And Rocker with a long outside birdie attempt. Still 3 under, following that 3-putt on the last. Played so well in the Ryder Cup, playing with Torrance in the 4 balls. He managed some good team wins and managed the singles win, which I'm sure he would have loved to cap his successful Ryder Cup. But got a good victory over Haas and Couples. And Love and Jeff Maggott, all so important, those points. And pretty good putt there by Rocker, having 3-putted the last from quite a long way away. You don't certainly relish another long putt because you know it can happen again. He does tend to collapse the left wrist at impact. Doesn't quite keep it firm as it goes through. and makes it much more difficult to judge the pace of the ball on the greens when you do that. So easy to either fly the ball past the hole or stop the left arm and come up a little bit shy. Man always known for a quip, Fiat. And he finished off his second round in the South African PGA Championship in the gloom of the Houghton golf course. It was virtually dark, and given the chance to finish the hole out, he decided to go ahead, chipped it in the hole and said, well, it was a piece of cake really, because in his youth had attended night school. Things slightly easier here. Right, sunshine of Dubai. This for a 2 on the 8th. Guildford. Birdie putt on the 8th hole. Also from a longish way away. No troubles with that one, so that'll be a par for him. He'll remain at 4 under. And a man with a chance to go 4 under, Seve. Done a lot of work like Montgomery over the winter period to get fit. Out with the mountain bike, trailing around. Took some months off to recharge the batteries, have a holiday, spend some time with his family. Put himself in a different frame of mind. And he certainly looks lean, and he certainly looks strong. Just bobbled a little bit, just a couple of feet off the putter head after he hit that. And not like Seve from that distance to leave it short. I'm sure his goal, if he can get in the clubhouse and break 70, that would be a great morale booster for him. Woosnam second to the 9th. Can't see the flagstick from where he's playing from. Way on that right-hand side. Oh, glorious to watch. So easy to see why he's won 2 events already this season. Really starting to come back on song with the long game. Man, never had trouble with the long game, Wayne Westner. Never been renowned for his putting. And a birdie opportunity just slipping by there on the 8th. Westner, of course, won this event in '93, his first ever win in Europe. So, new man at in second place, Jay Townsend vying for that top spot of Jimenez. He at 7 under. But don't go away, rejoin us in a few moments after these. And a man in trouble on the 9th. Gronberg has been in the water. This his 4th shot on day 1 of the Dubai Desert Classic. And the man close to the flag, striding up to his 18th hole, the 9th on the golf course, Ian Woosnam. So Gronberg not a happy bunny. And just having a few words with his caddy, what he thinks about his play down this hole, or maybe a club selection. See the card there, out in 39. Started to make a bit of a comeback there with the eagle on the 3rd. Dropped a shot on the last hole. As Fiat tees it up on the 8th. And he certainly didn't spare the horses with that. Perfect. Right down the middle of the fairway, you can see that wasteland coming into play off the tee. And the players having to decide how much they can bite off of the slight dogleg. Rocker following Fearty down the fairway. See this hole playing straight into the teeth of the wind. Ballesteros on balance. I'm not sure whether that's in the wasteland or in that little bit of semi-rough. He's away down that left-hand side. Gronberg's bogey putt on 9. And it's going to be a disappointing double bogey for him to finish with. Yeah, it's a quick mark. Get in the clubhouse. Quick beer and a bite to eat, maybe, and then straight to the practice ground. So just when he got back, or started to get the game back, a very sad 5-6 finish. Let it all get away on the last 2 holes. So Gronberg round in 75. Clark, a couple of seconds last year. Had chances to win, didn't quite take them. And maybe that's why. Still a good striker of the ball from tee to green. Maybe it's just the putter. Solid round though of 70 for Clark. Par on the front 9, 35, 37 on the back. So just the 1 bogey there for Howard. And what for him will be a reasonable day's golf. These the players across on the 18th. Just looking across to see Ian Woosnam finish. If he holds this putt for a birdie, I'm sure there'll be a bit of a roar. That's why those players on 18 are waiting. Ooh, in the side door, but they all count, and a good recovery there by Ian Woosnam at the end after that double bogey. He could have let another shot get away on the 8th, but he managed to save par with a fine second and a good birdie there. Back in level par 35, and that for him just breaking the barrier of 70. Jimenez still leads. Jay Townsend from the States having a good day's play. He's 7 under after 12. Stephen Field in the clubhouse just pipping Colin Montgomery with that 66. And the Irish having a good tournament with Darcy at 4 under, Christy O'Connor Jr. at 3 under. And David Fearty, who we saw a few moments ago, he also trundling along quite nicely in this, the first round. Players just shuffling themselves to get into a decent position. And you certainly don't want to get too far behind this Spanish player. But he certainly got off to a blistering start. And this man's getting off to a pretty good start too, but ooh, my word, look at that lie. That's horrid. See Seve able to ground the club, but I don't think he's got any chance of getting up, and I think that's hit the palm tree in front of him. And has he got it back out onto the fairway? And that's the price you pay for missing the fairway. I think it's caught the tree and just shot forward. Seve having a word with one of the spectators. Carl Mason now able to putt ahead on 18. Out with the broom handle putter. It's the man that had to wait 14 or 15 years for his first win. When he won twice. 32nd to the 8th. And he made that look very easy. And one hopes, because there is no patch on the right elbow, that he's managed to cure the tennis elbow that he was, or tennis elbow problems that he was having early in the year. Seve with the ball in his hand, and because he is in the rough, one can only manage that the ball is damaged, so he's able to pick it up to check whether the ball is damaged, and if not, then able to replace it. Ball really in a wicked lie, and it looks semi-plugged, so he really had no chance to get it anywhere near the green. And it looks like the ball is just sitting down a little bit too in the semi-rough, and you can see the sort of lie that he had, someone's heel print, giving him absolutely no chance with his shot at all, just having to try and dig it out. And of course, when that happens, you're never quite sure where it's going to go. So that's his third. But paying the price for an errant tee shot. I'm sure that he would be having a little private battle with himself if he could finish somehow with a 4 here and a 4 at the last and get in with a 69, just break that 70 barrier. It really would help his confidence no end. You can see world ranking 24, £4.5 million, 54 tour wins. Not even reached 40 yet. Need to think what he'll win by the time he's on the seniors tour. Well, that caption showing Alexander Chaker by the edge of the water, Wayne Westner on the putting green, waiting for David Guilford to play first from the front of the 9th. And I'd be surprised if Guilford plays a little chip and run here from the front of the 9th. No, surprising, out with a putter, and that'll give you some indication of how good these fairways are, because he's got to be a good, well, 8 or 9 yards off the putting surface. So obviously thinks the grass is in his favour, and certainly the ball didn't bobble too badly. And they say a good putt is, or a bad putt is better than a bad chip. Lazy bunker shot there by Costantino Rocca on the 8th, and that will give him a good chance to save par on this long par 4. Chaker's little chip now on 9. Yeah, and caught out there. So hard to know how that ball's going to come out. Once it starts sitting down in that thickish grass, try to play it like a bunker shot, try to give the club lots of swing, let the weight of the club shaft and the club head actually get underneath the ball, get a little bit of the grass to cushion some of the speed of the club head through the impact and let it flop out, but just didn't quite hit it hard enough. Back on 8, Fiat his birdie putt across the green. He's come close a couple of times, has David. ran out of gas. Online, not hard enough. Wayne Westner, front of the 9th green. And a little bit clumsy there from Wayne. As I was saying earlier, certainly has the capabilities from tee to green, but it's the short game, the touch that this man has around the edge of the green that he needs to sharpen up if he's going to be a really consistent winner. Can he save par? Oh, he's not hit it hard enough, and he's certainly not hit it high enough on the high side. So, bogey for Ballesteros on the 8th hole, caused from a wayward drive, hooked away down the left-hand side where Woosnam and Clark were. He not so fortunate to get a lie that he could reach the green. And Shaker with this putt on the 9th for a par. Good, positive putt. And a real streaky putt of this man. Had his father on tour a couple of times, reading the lines for him. And I think somebody better go out there and read the lines for Costantino. Mamma mia. You can see seething underneath that hat. Such a glorious man to watch hit iron shots. If you ever get the chance to see him play on the practice range or on the course, lovely striker of the ball. Westner's return putt on the 9th, that to be round in 71. So he keeping up his run of good form. Just the one birdie, no drop shots, almost Faldo-like. Guilford, his par putt, this to be round in 68. And he makes that as well. So good consistent scoring for this group here. And you can see Guilford helped by that eagle on the 6th hole, holding his second shot. Jay Townsend moving along nicely, having the chance to threaten Jimenez at the top of the leaderboard. Field in the clubhouse, no change further down the order. So rejoin us in a few moments for more golf from this first round of the Dubai Desert Classic. You rejoin us on the 9th hole here at the Emirates Golf Course. Seve Ballesteros on the tee. He's at 2 under par and putting together one of his best rounds that he's had for quite some time. Ninth hole, quite a strong dogleg from left to right. And Seve laying it up just short of that bunker on the right-hand side at 265 yards. And in the ideal spot. And that a much more rhythmical swing from Seve than the previous hole. He just tried to hit the one on the last tee a little bit too hard into the breeze. Next to play, Costantino. No problem with that. A long way past that of Seve Ballesteros. It doesn't really matter that much here on the 9th. And we go back down the course to the 6th hole. Jochen Hagemann, Paul Broadhurst and Paul Lawrie. Hagman found the bunker at the front of the green that Seve was in. Well, a peculiar shot there, a slightly, almost nervous prod, one would say. Maybe the ball was lying a little bit unkindly for Hagman there. Hagman, good front nine, 4 under par, bogeyed the first and picked one up at the third. So the Swedish player playing very nicely indeed. You see this 6th hole, 1 eagle scored already. Well, that's David Guilford. Bunker on the right-hand side. Players could carry that off the tee. You can see that's just 212 yards to the start of it, so somewhere around the 230 yards to carry that. Water certainly not in play off the tee, and the hole turns half right. You can see that long, thin, narrow green guarded by that front bunker. Paul Broadhurst doing pretty well, 3 under par, and scoring certainly particularly good here today. Players actually enjoying a little bit of sunshine after so much rain for the early part of the tour. And that never really threatening. We'll go up ahead and take a look at this 9th hole. This is the hole that Seve's playing. See, it plays down to the water. These bunkers coming at 265 yards on the right-hand side, and then a fairly sharp turn towards the right-hand side. So the players really want to be down that right-hand side if they can, to shorten their second shot and open up the green a little bit. Second shot played all along the water's edge, and the pin cut today on that front left-hand corner, just bringing the water into play. And not an easy second shot with the wind slightly into them from left to right. You can see Seve in an ideal spot there, but certainly having to start this ball almost straight into the middle of the green, and if he wants to hold it up with a little bit of draw into that breeze, that would be the ideal shot. You wouldn't think that he would set it out over the water and let it drift back on the breeze. Certainly can expect to see this one start at least on the safe side, on the right-hand side, moving back in towards the flag. Yep, and overcooked it. And left it out, and it's never easy when you're trying to protect against going in the water on a left to right wind. He knows it's going to be not too bad there. Should be a fairly straightforward up and down, certainly for a man of Ballesteros' skills. 30, you can see, slightly further down the fairway, but more from the left-hand side. Just brings the water into play a little bit more. The flag, in fact, cut in the middle of those hospitality units. So 30 having to come almost solidly over the bank of water. Not a great deal of green to work with. Certainly a player that can play a lot left to right if he wants to, or not too much adjustment, play the other way. So it certainly won't worry him if he had to hit this slightly left of the target, move it on the breeze. So strong as he threw the impact area with his left arm and hand. Set it out the right-hand side, trying to draw it back in, and it looked like he caught that a bit heavy. Just let go with the club at impact, and that's the one that really gets the tennis elbow. It really gives the elbow a bit of a twinge. Hagman to stay at 4 under. And the Swedish player, the first man from Sweden to get into the Ryder Cup side, in 93, comes out quite nicely. Perfect view there from Rocker. So lazy through the impact area. Just turned out of it a little quick, I think. Certainly not intimidated by the water. Hey, mamma mia again. Certainly looks like he carries the world on his shoulders all the time. A man not carrying the world on his shoulders, Miguel Angel Jimenez, round in 63 today, a sparkling 63. Can Jay Townsend catch him? He's still out on the course, just having played the 13th hole. So quite a good start to this event this week. Colin Montgomery, the slim down Colin Montgomery, lost 2 stone in weight, anxious to lose another 15 pounds. It's his first European Tour outing. He is round in 67, 5 under par. So excellent scoring on this first day at the Emirates Golf Club. Our first look at Paul Lawrie. New Volvo Tour winner. Won the Castellan Open just a few weeks ago. Just getting it onto the front edge of the green on the 7th. And his heart was in his mouth off the tee with that one in the air. Didn't carry the water by too much. Next to play is Hageman. Aimed that well right off the target and left it there, and that looks exactly where he aimed it. So a pretty straight shot. Maybe just a little bit check on the alignment. The after the round practice session maybe. Certainly had the length right. Got quite a lot of green to work with here, so not a particularly difficult shot. He can just throw this onto the front edge of the green, let it trundle down towards the flag. Normally such a good judge of pace and distance on shots like this. But not this time. He's making heavy weather of this finish. Seve added 3 under just a couple of holes ago. Now has a putt on the last green to be round in 70. The agricultural swing there for Broadhurst. He not happy with that one, just letting it leak away a little bit to that right-hand side. David Fearty's just played up from the front of the green, asking his playing past Costantino where he wants the ball marked. Phlegmatic Rocker probably won't be bothered by it. Well, doesn't often hold too many putts on the green. Certainly finds putting certainly one of his more difficult things. This time out with the little pitch and run shot. And of course we'll all remember that shot that he had on the last hole at St Andrews last year, when, having fluffed the chip, holed it from the Valley of Sin to tie John Daly. Now, not quite repeating that, but playing a workmanlike little chip and run. So not sure now whether it will be Fearty or Ballesteros to play. Meanwhile, we'll go back to look at Jay Townsend. Putting a really good score together is Jay. That's his second shot to the 6th. Quite sure where that's finished. We'll come back to that one. Ballesteros, this to be round in 70. But not to be. So, disappointing bogey finish on 8 and 9 for Seve, but warm applause from the people here. At least he's broken par. And, well, if he can follow that with a decent score tomorrow, certainly make the cut, start to play a few rounds competitively. Who knows, we may see a playing a Ryder Cup captain yet. And this no easy putt for Fearty on the last. He would have certainly liked this to be a little bit closer. But no problems there, right into the heart. And a good par on the last for David Fearty from Northern Ireland. Round in 70, just pips his playing partner. 4 birdies, a couple of bogeys. Fairly consistent play there from David. And Hageman. It's his birdie putt down the side of the 7th. And quite a number of the players finding it quite difficult on these closing holes on this 9 to get it near the flag. Not too many birdie opportunities coming their way. Quite difficult, quite long. Tough pin placements, water in play. Can Rocker save his par on 9? He can. That'll go down as a 1-putt, Costantino, after that chip. But his back 9, the front 9 there, played in 36, following the 34 of his front 9, so around in 70 for Rocker. And as I was mentioning just a little while ago, it's another one of these players with long putt across the green, and when you're playing fast greens with a little bit of undulation, so hard to make birdie putts. This course just over 7,000 yards. Certainly no pitch and putt course. Look at that go on. And when there's water and tough pin placements, just puts in perspective how good Jimenez round of 63 was today. That's the shot from Townsend, the likely man who can catch him. Been quite a journeyman on the European Tour since '85, Jay Townsend. Chance to go 6 under for Paul Lawrie, and what a difference that win's going to make to him at the start of the season. I'm sure his whole attitude and frame of mind to tournaments will change. Just remember him playing at St George's in the Open Championship a few years ago when he made that eagle on the 17th hole, the year that Greg Norman won. Marvellous finish that he had there. Now starting to do it in mainline events. long approach putt there from Paul McGinley, playing with Townsend and Luna. Solid putt from Hageman. Hageman now being probably slightly eclipsed by some of the other Swedish players coming through. I don't think that he thought the first Swedish player would be Jochen Hageman in '93. He thought at that time maybe Forsbrand or Parmanovic, but certainly a host of fine players coming through from Sweden now. Broadhurst's putt for a par. Well holed. So important to try and post a good score in the first round of any event. Takes the thought of making the cut out of your mind. 65 and ties, of course, over these first 2 rounds to go through to play the final 36 on Saturday and Sunday. And Laurie taps in for his par on the 7th. He remains at 5 under. Townsend, well, he's got to make a putt on the 16th to get to 7 under, or remain at 7 under. Will he do that? Rejoin us in a few moments and find out. Welcome back. Paul Laurie just teeing off the 8th hole, this long par 4 into the teeth of the breeze. This is back 9. 2T start in the first round normally of any PGA European Tour event. And a man with an important putt now to keep his momentum going, Jay Townsend. This to remain at 7 under par, 2 back from Jimenez, and he makes that. So Townsend on line for, again, another one of those good performances that he usually puts together. This last year was 3rd in the European Open. Hageman tees off on the 8th. Very flat, very rounded swing. Seems to be the modern approach at the moment. How are the better pupils? As McGinley at 5 under has this to remain there. Good solid putt. Slightly unorthodox swing here from Broadhurst. You watch as he comes through the ball how the right shoulder dips down. Not textbook fashion, but certainly effective. And that's the first one of the shots that we've seen away on that right hand side, and one hopes he's stayed away from that sort of tall love grass, very thick in the wild sands. And a birdie of a different type there, just having a rest. Final discussions for Paul McGinley with his caddy. All these caddies have their own yardages marked out. They keep a very precise record of what each player's hit in practice rounds, where the pins were under all sorts of conditions. They're walking mathematicians these days. Good solid shot from McGinley, drawing it into that left to right breeze, and that's good control. Shows that his swing is on a good line. Anytime you can do that means that you're coming fairly squarely into the back of the ball. And let's see what Jay Townsend can do. Son of an American club professional. and graduate of the University of Florida, where he won All-American honours, and been a regular tour performer on the European Tour since '85. Very much more up and down swings, slightly on the tilted side. When he's good, he's very good. And a very confident shot there from the American player. Never managed to win, but his best performance in the Catalonian Open in '93, Townsend. So a little bit in uncharted waters so early on in the tournament. Luna on the practice ground before the event was giving Ballesteros some tips on what he thought about his swing. And they obviously working for Ballesteros, but maybe not too well for Luna. He level par today, one shot behind his hero, the guy that he's modelled his swing on. And they're just confirmation. Townsend just 2 back. He will know from looking at the leaderboard how well he's doing. He'll want to stay calm. Good view there for the second shot of Laurie into the 8th. Course fairly flat, but this second shot played slightly uphill. Ooh. And that's one of the best shots we've seen on this hole. Good driving iron. Broadhurst will manage to keep clear of that very thick undergrowth there in these wastelands away on the right-hand side. All depends on the lie. Needs to clip it clean if he's going to reach the green in 2. Long iron, tough shot. And just coming a little bit short. May just got a little bit of the sand behind the ball, just taken a little bit of the powder out of the shell. Yes, birdie's hard to come by here. Hageman from the other side of the fairway, and you can see in quite deep this semi-rough. Certainly a little bit more difficult to get the ball to stop from that lie. Balls just tend to go on a little bit more when it hits the green. But having said that, that was good control from the Swedish player. Actually had quite a good lie there, able to get quite a lot of the club face on the ball and get it to sit down fairly quickly. So Townsend, chance to move within 1 shot of Jimenez if he holds this long putt from the front of the green. Really, realistically, I'm sure he'll be just trying to get this close. It goes in, it goes in. Managed to do that nicely. He'll wait. So the man who finished 43rd on the Order of Merit last year with £129,000 to his name. Being set for another good year. Most of the players mark the ball on the tour with a coin. And Townsend marking that with a fairly large one, thought it was a manhole cover. So just a view there of the clubhouse in the dimming light here at the Emirates golf course. Sun beginning to set on what has been a very fine first day's play. Excellent first day's play for Paul McGinley. That would have put him to 6 under par. So he taps in. Yes. Real hands, wristy pitch from the edge of the green there by Paul Broadhurst, but a fairly effective, so a good chance for him to save par, having driven it away in the right-hand bushes, or right-hand sandy lie wastelands. Maybe he'll have a chance to make a par where Ballesteros couldn't. Hageman's birdie attempt. Getting the line or pace there. Had his best year in Europe in '93 when he won the Spanish Open, and last 2 years he's moved the wrong way. 25th on the Volvo rankings and then 40th last year. And well, I bet you get quite a view of the golf course up there, certainly from looking down on this Emirates golf course. You'd see an oasis of greenland surrounded by the desert. Quite an unusual sight it is. Desert squared off as it goes round the edge of this course. Rory has the chance to make birdie on the 8th. And shows you, if you get a little bit positive around here, how they can just slide by. Certainly didn't give that too much. I'm just going to have to concentrate on this couple of footer coming back. See, chance for a birdie. Maybe that's more than 2 feet. Could be all of 3. Really good putting surface here, though. Very true. True and fast greens, a golfer's dream. No problems there for our new tournament winner from Scotland, as he remains 5 under. 4 back from Jimenez, but a very good workmanlike first round for him. Broadhurst, one of the players managed by Andrew Chandler, or Chubby. Sure he'll be watching today's play, watching his men compete out here in Dubai. And a man that was born on the same day as me, in fact, Andrew Chandler, April the 1st. Yes, coming up birthday time again, Chubby. But a good save there for Broadhurst, as Jimenez remains at 9 under in the clubhouse, being chased now by Jay Townsend at 7 under, putting a really solid round together. Stephen Field, well, very pleased with his first round score of 6 under, as so too I'm sure is Colin Montgomery, out of the traps very quickly in his first European event. Montgomery at 5 under, and even Darcy at 4. So here, just a look at the man heading the leaderboard as we come to the end of our first day coverage. This Jimenez, and the second shot. And a putt here for Jimenez on his way to a fine sparkling 63. So we hope you've enjoyed today's first round coverage from Dubai. Make sure that you rejoin us tomorrow at the same time from 12 until 2. We'll 4 days live here this week. As we just see Jimenez, this was on the 8th. Pulled his second shot away to the left-hand side, but here a great putt to save par, and certainly the putter very hot for the Spanish player. So good. And finally on the 18th, Jimenez finishing his round. That would have been round in 62 for the Spanish player. In fact, he had this to tap in for 63. And a real sparkling way to start this first round coverage from Dubai. Remember, Colin Montgomery in the first round last year shot 63. The course record, of course, being held by this man, Ernie Els, when he won in 1994. Els not playing this week. So, as I say again, tomorrow we are live again, 12 o'clock till 2. Make sure you rejoin us then for, again, what I'm sure is going to be a very fine tournament. From me, Warren Humphreys, from the Emirates Golf Club in Dubai, it's goodbye.
The PGA European Tour was brought to you by Volvo.